So what is the mood like on the ground in New Hampshire?
Well, it's a bit peculiar, actually, because, normally American primaries are about as exciting as politics gets. It's as close to, sports in terms of drama and so on. And New Hampshire is historically a very exciting primary. I was here in 2016 when Donald Trump won and Bernie Sanders won, and it felt like the world was on fire. And it was very alarming for everyone, but very good for journalists. And 2020 was also very exciting. Bernie Sanders beat Joe Biden very easily here. This year, it's quite flat in a way. The debates have been cancelled because Trump is so easily the front runner. He won so handsomely in Iowa. Nikki Haley said, I will only do the CNN debate if Donald Trump does it. Of course, Donald Trump ducked it, which he's done with all the debates. And so it would have just been Ron DeSantis on the stage, and so CNN cancelled it.
So as you say,
and so the atmosphere.
Well, I was going to just jump in and say, in Iowa, when you look at those results, Trump got 51% of the vote, DeSantis 21%, Nikki Haley 19%, Vivek Ramaswamy obviously dropping out. Now, when you look at the polling here in New Hampshire, as you say, Trump's lead is extraordinary, 50%, DeSantis on 5%, Haley on 34%. Now, I didn't know this, but my understanding is undeclared voters in New Hampshire can actually take part in these presidential primaries. And that could change things somewhat.
Yes, it's known as a rogue primary, and that is good news for Nikki Haley, and she is campaigning very, very hard at the moment to try and make a dent in that poll lead that Donald Trump has. She has made a bit of a dent. It is looking closer. And of course, because it's a rogue primary and it's open, it's seen as a better indicator of what a general election might be like in November, when Trump will have to compete against Joe Biden. So Nikki Haley's making it closer, but if she can't get much closer in the next few days and either win the primary or come a very, very close second, I think, as you said at the beginning, this race isn't really over. It's not even a race. It's more of a coronation. Donald Trump is the incumbent, and he will go on to face Joe Biden or possibly an emergency Democratic substitute in November.
Nikki Haley has been making age a bit of a factor during rallies and on the campaign trail, hasn't she? And I was interested to see this morning that Donald Trump has claimed that he could live to 200 if he could just give up the junk food, Freddie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it feels a bit like he might live on forever at the moment. Age is a factor. I spoke to voters here today, and they all say, we need young people in politics. But for some reason, American democracy just seems incapable of throwing up successful young candidates at the moment. So Nikki Haley's right to stress it.
So, sorry, I was going to say, so what is it about Trump that people like? If he wins, and my understanding is that it is unusual, if you win Iowa and you win New Hampshire, it is highly unlikely that he wouldn't become the nominee. What is it about Trump that middle America loves so much?
Well, I think Donald Trump is the most extraordinary political campaigner of our time. He has a movement behind him, and the movement really loves him. And it's very easy to dismiss these people as crazies and Trumpist lunatics and so on. But if you look at his retail politics, what he sells to the electorate, he identifies the key issues and he drives at them very hard. Immigration, for instance, he talks about that a lot, and he has done in recent days. Social security. He's hammering Nikki Haley on social security, which is very effective here in New Hampshire. He's very clever at identifying the exact causes and issues that people are concerned about in the areas in which they're concerned about them.
After this, they then move on to South Carolina, Nikki Haley's own home state. How significant will that be, Freddie?
Well, it all depends on Tuesday. If she gets a good result here in New Hampshire, she could go on with a bit of momentum down to South Carolina. The trouble is, though, the polls are looking very bad for her in South Carolina. Even though it's her own home state, it's very strong Trump territory. He's very loved down there. So she has to do very, very well on Tuesday just to even have a fighting chance. At the moment, though, that's not looking very likely.
Do you think it's game over then?
I'm afraid I do. I think I'd like there to be an exciting race, give us lots to talk about. But at the moment, it's just Trump, 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 and Biden, Biden, Biden.
Despite all the other distractions, 91 criminal charges, civil suits, attempt to keep him off the ballot in various states, he just keeps on going.
Well, I mean, I suppose, yeah, you were talking earlier about whether politics should be boring or not. I mean, it's never boring with Donald Trump. I think the trials will become the story. They still are the story at the moment. The first big one is the indictment about January 6th and his role in the insurrection, so-called insurrection there.